In the movie, Coco, we were introduced to the vibrant festival of the Day of the Dead, also known as El Día de los Muertos in Spanish. Traditionally celebrated on November 1st and 2nd to coincide with All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day, this holiday is widely observed in Mexico, where it originated, and is also commemorated in other places, particularly by individuals of Mexican descent. While it has some connection to the Christian observance of Hallowtide, the Day of the Dead carries a much lighter and joyful atmosphere, emphasizing celebration rather than mourning. One of the central themes in the Coco movie is how, as spirits, once the last living person on earth forgets about us, we will cease to exist in the spiritual world as well. Interestingly, this concept is pervasive across different cultures, the belief that our spiritual and physical worlds are intertwined, and those in the spiritual world gain strength through our memories and offerings. At its core, the Day of the Dead is a celebration of life, a joyful commemoration of loved ones who have passed away, and a tradition where families and friends can come together to honor and remember them. Families believe that the souls of their departed relatives return to the earthly realm during this time to reunite with their living loved ones. To facilitate this reunion, families go to great lengths to prepare and create a welcoming environment for the returning souls. They visit cemeteries, usually on November 2nd, to spend time with their deceased relatives, and many choose to hold vigils at the graves. Here, they lovingly clean and decorate graves, transforming the somber setting into a colorful and lively place of remembrance. The overnight vigils often involve storytelling, singing, and even the sharing of anecdotes about the departed, fostering a sense of connection across generations. One of the most iconic and essential elements of Day of the Dead celebrations is the creation of ofrendas, or offerings. These intricate altars are lovingly arranged by families in their homes, cemeteries, and public spaces. They serve as a focal point for the festivities and are adorned with a variety of symbolic items, each carrying deep meaning. Elements of an ofrenda include photographs, images of the deceased, often framed in ornate settings, take pride of place on ofrendas. These photographs help families remember their loved ones and invite their spirits to return. Typically, there is also an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe and, possibly, depictions of beloved saints. Candles. Candles are lit to guide the spirits on their journey back to the living world. Marigolds. The vibrant yellow and orange marigold flowers, known as cempasúchil, are believed to help guide the spirits with their vibrant colors and strong fragrance back to their home. Calaveras, sugar skulls, or calaveras, are often decorated with the names of the departed and are meant to symbolize the sweetness of life. Food and drinks, traditional dishes and the favorite foods and beverages of the deceased are offered on ofrendas. Round pastries known as pan de muerto, bread of the dead, are prepared, and sometimes, offerings like cigarettes or liquor are included if they were favored by the deceased in their lifetime. Critically, there is the presence of water in a container. Souls of the dead have a long journey back to earth, and by the time they arrive, they are thirsty and hungry. It is believed that the spirits consume the essence of these offerings. Incense, the sweet aroma of copal incense fills the air, purifying the space and carrying the prayers and wishes of the living to the departed. Others, if the deceased is a child, favorite toys are placed on the altar. Pillows and blankets are placed out for the deceased to rest after their long journey. This ofrenda is often maintained throughout the month of November, following Aztec tradition, which designates a full month for remembrance. In addition to the ofrendas, homes are often adorned with papel picado, colorful paper banners with intricate cutout designs. These banners are hung throughout the house, adding to the festive atmosphere. They are particularly popular during celebrations in rural communities. The Day of the Dead is renowned for its playful and sometimes macabre imagery, with one of its delightful expressions being the calicas. Calicas are skeletal figurines or masks that embody the whimsical and occasionally humorous essence of the celebration. These representations of skeletons often sport a variety of outfits, showcasing an extensive range of activities and professions. Even in death, individuals maintain their distinct identities and passions. Whether it's mariachi musicians or chefs, calicas depict the departed engaging in the activities they cherished during their lifetimes. Families use these calicas to pay homage to the personalities and interests of their loved ones. In select regions of Mexico, candlelit processions and parades play a pivotal role in the Day of the Dead festivities. Participants don costumes and adorn their faces to resemble both calicas and La Catrina, to be elaborated on later. Holding candles and marigold flowers, they traverse the streets, creating a captivating spectacle of light and color. To truly grasp the significance of the Day of the Dead, it's important to delve into its historical origins. Many now believe that this tradition fuses ancient indigenous customs with Catholic influences. In the pre-Hispanic cultures of Mexico, which can be traced back thousands of years to civilizations like the Aztecs, Maya, and Mixtec, indigenous peoples held the belief that life resembled a dream, and it was only in death that one attained complete human liberation. Ancestor veneration occupied a central place in these cultures. They believed that the spirits of the departed continued to exert influence over the living, offering guidance and protection. Conversely, if the deceased were not honored appropriately, they might bring misfortune or curses upon the living. In Aztec mythology, the goddess Mictecacitl, also recognized as the Lady of the Dead, held sway over the underworld known as Mictlan, alongside her husband, Mictlantecutli. It was believed that she was born and subsequently offered as an infant sacrifice. In visual representations, she is depicted with a flayed body and an open jaw, symbolizing her role in devouring the stars during daylight hours. Her principal responsibility entails safeguarding the remains of the departed and overseeing the ancient rituals dedicated to the deceased. Both she and her husband are portrayed as skeletal figures. The symbolism of skulls may have held great potency for the Aztecs, evoking thoughts of sacrifice and the racks where they exhibited the skulls of sacrificed captives. The arrival of Spanish conquistadors in the 16th century introduced Catholicism to Mexico. In their endeavors to convert indigenous populations, the Catholic Church aimed to supplant indigenous traditions with Christian ones. For instance, the Aztecs had allocated two 20-day months within their ceremonial calendar for honoring the deceased, the 9th month for children and the 10th month for adults. Fragments of these rituals may have been condensed into 2 days and discreetly incorporated into the Catholic liturgical calendar. This accounts for the fact that in Mexico, All Saints' Day, November 1st, is dedicated to children, while All Souls' Day, November 2nd, is dedicated to adults. In Catholic theology, All Souls' Day is underpinned by the concept of purgatory, where the souls of the departed are believed to undergo purification before entering heaven. This purification process can be expedited through prayers and offerings made on their behalf. Contrary to misconceptions, the Day of the Dead is a joyful commemoration because it centers on the conviction that the souls in purgatory have the assurance of salvation. Two iconic figures associated with the Day of the Dead are Santa Muerte, a skeletal folk saint, and La Catrina, an elegantly dressed skeleton dame. Santa Muerte is often regarded as a Catholic reinterpretation of the Aztec goddess Mictecacitl. She is typically depicted as a skeleton holding the scythe of death. There are approximately 40 shrines to Santa Muerte in Mexico City and around 400 throughout the country, with many situated along the United States border, where drug lords hold influence. Santa Muerte has garnered a following of perhaps 2 million people. She tends to attract individuals driven by desperation into engaging in economic activities such as prostitution, illegal vending, and petty theft. She also enjoys a strong following within Mexican prisons, where she is known as the Virgin of the Imprisoned. On the other hand, La Catrina originated as a satirical illustration created by José Guadalupe Posada in 1910. Posada's artwork, featuring La Catrina, served as a commentary on the extravagant lifestyles of the Mexican elite during a period of stark social inequality. Through his art, Posada conveyed the notion that death is the ultimate equalizer, transcending social distinctions. Over time, this elegant skeletal lady, often adorned with a stylish hat and attire, evolved from a satirical character into a symbol of Mexican identity itself. In 2008, UNESCO acknowledged this tradition of the Day of the Dead by inscribing it on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity.